Attention, the following message is probably the most important video you'll ever watch. Make sure you're listening carefully and your speakers are turned up. This information is confidential and not for the faint-hearted. We've all seen things on the news, heard it on the radio. The shocking disasters, the earthquakes, the trouble spots. The other side of the world. It's always someone else's problem, something we'll never have to deal with, right? Well, for most of us that might be true for now, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news. What would happen if you suddenly found yourself in a disaster, on your doorstep, in your backyard? It was your disaster, your earthquake, your flood, or your country's civil unrest. Would you cope? Would you know how to survive? Would you know what to do? The answer to that right now is probably not, and here is why. Our governments have been lying to us. In fact, the whole of the Western world, the middle classes, the backbone of any country or society, the people who pay their taxes, law-abiding citizens, are getting squeezed, and we're being lied to. Our great countries are on the edge, not just from climate change, but from economic collapse. Our countries are basically bankrupt, and there's no spare cash. If we were a business, the foreclosure sign would have been long gone. Our world as we know it right now is on the brink, is teetering on the edge. We're so deep in debt, there's not enough paper to write down all the zeros. Something is about to happen, and this is what worries me. You're probably wondering, what does this limey British guy know about a crisis? Well, my name is Dan Taylor. I'm an ex-Special Forces soldier. My motto is simple: hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I've served in different war zones around the world. I've been in crisis situations that for most people would seem like a living hell. I've worked with American SEAL units fighting side by side on the battlefield, and trained Green Berets in survival techniques at Fort Lewis, Washington State. And now I'm ready to share these very important survival methods with you. Detailed information not available anywhere else. Hands-on, real-life experience. Like you, I'm passionate about my country, but worried for the next generation. I feel we're being led on a path of destruction and chaos. A runaway train and our great nations are being sacrificed. Think back to the recent banking crisis, the so-called fiscal cliff. The leaky bucket was plugged again, staving off the inevitable. Do you think our leaders were worried about the money, the debt? They were worried, all right, about losing control of the people. But all they seem to do is argue, leaving you and me in limbo. Imagine if law and order were to break down, and the US dollar isn't worth the paper it's printed on, and oil prices spiral out of control. Suppliers stop supplying, people start to panic. Civil unrest and society as we know it is lost. The mob rules and people have nowhere to turn to. Call 911 and there's nobody there to help. What would you do? So do yourself a favour and pay attention. Stop what you're doing and listen very carefully. And I'll be totally honest with you. I hope you never have to use any of my methods, but if the need arises, the information I'm about to share with you will not only help you be ready, but it will save your life. I know because it did mine on two very separate occasions. Look, I don't want to turn you into some doomsday prepper, living in constant fear in an underground bunker, or running around like a demented Rambo on acid. My goal here is simple. If the worst case scenario does happen, then it's better to be ready, to have a contingency plan ready to go at a moment's notice. It's better to have the knowledge on how to cope and survive a crisis than not having this information and not being ready. Knowing how to cope in a disaster will save your life, but more importantly, it will allow you to help your nearest and dearest, the partner, your children, your loved ones, the people that matter. I have kids too. They rely on me for absolutely everything. Imagine yourself caught up in a crisis. It doesn't matter what. Your kids are scared. They look to you for help, for some reassurance. Someone to tell them that everything is going to be alright. Could you look them in the eye and know this was true? Honestly? Would you have the confidence in your own abilities right now? It doesn't matter if you're a single mum, married, or living on your own. This information is vital to your potential survival. I'm going to show you the 17 essential things you need to know about in a crisis. Any crisis where the everyday things that we all take for granted will not work. Mobile telephones, computers, electricity, and even basic clean running water. Not being able to nip to the grocery store for life's essentials. And remember, I'm speaking from experience. Apart from the threat from financial meltdown or extremist terrorism, our climate is changing. Natural disasters are becoming more common. And they're getting a lot closer to home. Just recently, New York was flooded out by Hurricane Sandy. They called it the perfect storm. The truth is, it's just the beginning. People in California live on a ticking earthquake time bomb. Tornadoes that batter the central states are getting stronger every year. And we've been warned to expect even worse, much worse. Still think you're safe? It's not a matter if it will happen, it's a matter of when something will happen. And we both know that something is about to happen. Call it a gut feeling or just a nose for self-preservation. Well, this is why I made this short video. In the next few moments, you're going to be letting into some secrets. I'm going to show you what you need to know, how to prepare yourself and your family, what supplies to have stored and how to get them. And more importantly, the ability to do all this without being noticed. Because the last thing you want is the mob trying to steal your supplies. The fact is, our leaders in recent years have made our societies unstable. They've taken their eye off the ball. Borrow as much as you like, pay back when you can. Well, that was great for a while, but the moneylenders are calling time on this. They want their money back, with their pound of flesh as well. The cracks in our societies are getting wider every day. That's a simple fact of life. It doesn't matter which side of the political fence you sit. When a crisis hits, you and your family, you're on your own. As soon as it starts, there'll be no way of getting basic food supplies, or any other of life's essentials. In a crisis, you need to know what to do and do it fast. As soon as the news breaks, the shelves will be empty before you even know it. When it happens, do you think your neighbours will look after you? No. Because like you right now, at this point in time, they're not ready either. Imagine being cut off for weeks by floods or extreme weather. No supplies means no food and no help. The facts are right now, you're in the majority like most other people. Real disasters don't happen to me though, do they? Well, speaking from experience, they can happen at any time. Most without any warning whatsoever. Recent events have proved we live in a very unstable world. Do you think the people caught up in the Japanese tsunami would have dreamt they would have been in that situation? Within minutes, their world was turned upside down. The fortunate ones who survived spent weeks queuing for scraps of food. And sadly, many people died in the aftermath. Hey, well that's on the other side of the world, right? The fact is, the world is a small place. Closer to home, we have hurricanes, floods, and more extreme weather conditions to deal with. In 2012, here in the United Kingdom, we had floods like never before. More extreme situations where normal, everyday folk suddenly found themselves cut off and at the mercy of a disaster. The majority were not ready. No training, no supplies, and very little hope. Imagine that on a national scale. Do you think Uncle Sam is going to be there for you? This is why you need to keep listening to what I've got to say. This video is probably the most important of your life. In 1995, I saw what a disaster does to people firsthand. A real-life war zone. In the former Yugoslavia, tens of thousands of people were left homeless, driven out by gun-wielding madmen, without food and water, and believe me when I say it's not a pretty sight. Add to that the constant threat of being bombed, or even shot, and you start to see the picture. I realised then that this can happen anywhere, and I needed to be ready. Watching people die from starvation and not having even the basic needs is horrible. Especially children. It's not nice, eh? Whilst people back home were tucking into their Sunday lunch, I was watching people fighting over scraps of food. And this was happening on my doorstep. The unthinkable was happening. I was watching this and I realised this is a massive wake-up call. There were no supplies coming in, and people were herded together in makeshift camps. And these were the so-called lucky ones. And the ironic thing is, this is how our governments would handle a similar crisis if it happened tomorrow. You'd be rounded up and bussed off to controllable makeshift camps. In the States you call it FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. Imagine life in one of those camps. Just ask the victims of Hurricane Katrina what that was like. Well people, that will never happen to me or my family, as I'm ready, and you need to be as well. I don't want the prophet of doom and gloom here, but just hoarding supplies is not the answer. You need to know a little bit more than that. What will surprise you is the most obvious is not always going to save you. I'm going to show you why military attention to detail. Like I said, I've been in situations where thankfully the right training saved my life, and it helped me save other people just like you. When a crisis starts, it does not matter what you know or what attitude you have. If you don't have the right supplies already in house, then it will be too late. Panic buying will be rife and vital supplies will be gone within minutes, so forget that. The key to staying alive is knowing how and what to store, and like I said, the most obvious is not going to save you. My military training taught me what, where and how to deal with stuff, and in civilian life it's no different, and this is what I'm going to show you. Many people who prepare for a disaster live in fear of ridicule. I'd rather have the last laugh though, wouldn't you? Knowing I'm prepared and my family will be safe means I go about my everyday life under the radar without other people knowing that I'm ready. I prefer it this way. I just get on with my life. My neighbours don't even know, and I'm cool with that. When disaster hits, no matter what your financial situation is right now, whether you're rich or you're poor, it won't matter. There'll be no one to call, no one to serve others, no nipping down the ATM or borrowing on any credit cards. It will be every man Jack for himself, and you'll be on your own. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, gay, straight, disaster has no moral high ground. Survival is the name in the game, and you need to be well ahead of the pack. Training lesson number 1. Knowledge is king, and be prepared for the unexpected. That has stayed with me ever since day one, and it saved my life. And don't be fooled anymore with a false sense of security. The nice politicians telling you everything is under control, force-feeding you it will never happen to us syndrome, because if you don't act now, it will be too late. And the ironic thing is, all the do-gooders will be the first ones panic buying when you know what hits the fan. Here in the UK in 2012, we had a threat of a gas strike by the tanker drivers. Overnight, the gas stations ran dry, not a drop to be found anywhere. Ironically, there was no strike, just talk of one. The media whipped up a frenzy, people started to panic buy. This was a massive wake-up call for many people, a premonition of things to come. The smart ones knew it was time to take action. Imagine what would happen in a real crisis. Society as we would know it would stop and cease to exist. Shops would be looted not by gun-wrenching mobs, but by normal folk, panicking and desperate about what is happening. You ever gone into the grocery store and the item you want is sold out? The fact is, All grocery stores carry just 3 days' supplies of each line they carry, many even fewer in busy times. My point here is you need to have the right stores in place right now, before the shelves are stripped bare. Our governments do not have the emergency supplies in place. The simple fact is, there's just too many people to feed. This is not something they want to shout about or share with us. Why would they? Ordinary folk like you and me are collateral damage, and the frightening thing is, we're expendable. Trust me, the only people who our leaders will care about in a crisis is themselves. What you need is solid advice, not just about what food supplies to have, but other life-saving essentials. And this is what I'm about to share with you. The stuff that costs a few dollars now will be worth its weight in gold in a crisis. And trust me, I've seen this happen already for real. A bottle of clean water being exchanged for solid gold jewellery. Everyday items we buy in our weekly shop will be worth many times more, hundreds of times more. And the fact you have plenty in a time of need puts you in a very powerful situation. And here's some more good news. With what I'm sharing with you right now, means that the middle classes, the normal everyday folk like you and me, we have the upper hand. We hold all the keys. And the beauty about having the knowledge, it isn't expensive if you start now. It won't cost you thousands of dollars to be ready, and it can be done on a budget. It's all about knowing what to do, what to store, and how to be ready. I'm going to show you what you need to do and how to get it. Now, many people think they'll just drop by their local camping store and buy up all the essentials. In truth, this will not work. It's not a long-term sustainable strategy. Chances are in a crisis that store will be empty or even closed. Now, many people out there may accuse me of whipping up a frenzy, making money off the backs of hard-working people. I think the so-called 2012 doomsday scenario people, they tried that already. But this is not about making money. It's about self-preservation. And the simple truth is, I was asked to share my skills because people needed to know. They need to know what to do when disaster hits, from someone who's experienced it for real, firsthand. Our countries will need people like you and me when they rebuild. Like-minded people with solid values and beliefs. It will take a minimum of 3 to 6 months for things to get back to normal. You're either going to be ready or you're not. The knots will starve and fall by the wayside. That's harsh, I know, but that's the reality of the situation. The people who are prepared will be the survivors, the foundation stones of a long rebuilding process, the people who will shape the future and reshape our societies. So you're ready to get the knowledge. Here's what you get. And by the way, you get a full money back guarantee if you don't think it will save your life. I'm going to train you in the same survival techniques the military teach their special forces. These techniques can be adapted by you to use in any crisis, man-made or natural disaster. I'm going to show you what supplies you need to have in place right now. I'm going to show you how to lock down these supplies and stay under the radar, so you and your family do not become a target. You may think you're ready right now, but I guarantee until you have this knowledge, you're nowhere near being ready. I was taught by the best survival experts on the planet. Experience has taught me these techniques do actually work. And like I said, they saved my life, and I'm about to share these with you. People like you will benefit from knowing what to do in a crisis, how to cope and how to protect the ones that matter. I've split each section down into easy follow guides. There's loads of free bonuses in the members area. Note, I said members area. Real access to all the information. This is not just about some PDF guide or an ebook written in a nice warm office. You'll find this information really useful. I guarantee that. Knowing how to store water is crucial and pretty obvious, right? Well, that's taken care of in lesson 1. Also, long-term sustainable methods is vital to self-preservation. I'll show you how, what, and where. And you don't need to turn yourself into a commercial market gardener to do this. The biggest and most important part of my guide is knowing how to store your supplies. Too much and it goes to waste. too little, and you go hungry. So getting the right balance is crucial to survival. Knowing what foods are good to store and what are bad is really good information. Food and water, though, is just one element of survival. Having to move at a moment's notice is another. When I was in the military, the training took this to the next level, and this is what I'm going to show you. The insider secrets on what to do, what to expect, and when to do it. Now, if you're ready for this, then it's time to take action now. Not just for your own peace of mind, but for your families as well. How to be self-sufficient without standing out is vital to your success. And also the little details that most so-called survival experts don't tell you. Take it from me, ladies and gentlemen, attention to detail makes all the difference. Knowing these will give you the edge you deserve. You get organised and then you get on with your life. Like me, hoping for the best but knowing you are prepared for the worst. Having peace of mind that if something does happen, you're ready. You're going to be able to protect your family and you'll be okay. So let's talk brass tacks here. I know you're wondering what it's going to cost you. Before I tell you that, let me ask you a simple question. How much do you value your life at? Well, you can't answer that. Nobody can. In a crisis, this will save your life. Period. I'm not going to beat about the bush here. What would you pay for years of knowledge and experience? Today, as you've been referred here, it's only $37. Now I'm sure every person watching this video values their life a lot higher than that. And remember, you get a full 60-day money-back guarantee if you're not happy. Click the download button if it's still there and grab your copy now. And I'll be talking to you next and sharing my secrets in the members area.